Hundreds of delegates are up for grabs on Super Tuesday next week. EWTN News Nightly will be bringing you comprehensive coverage as more than a dozen states head to the polls. And stay with us next week as we travel to California, North Carolina, and Vermont with Super Tuesday coverage. We'll have reports and analysis each evening, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. As Owen mentioned, President Trump rallies in South Carolina tonight for re-election, but it's the speech that he'll give tomorrow night just outside of the nation's capital that many conservatives are waiting to hear. Correspondent Mark Irons reports now from CPAC.
Tracy, tomorrow's speech by the president will cap off the Conservative Political Action Conference. And just ahead of Super Tuesday, we spoke with someone at the heart of the president's re-election campaign. He's confident supporters here are positioning the president for a big win in November. At CPAC, the president's inner circle, from the vice president to White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney, is making the case for another 4 years of President Trump. Today we spoke with his 2020 campaign manager, Brad Parscale.
We're running a great campaign. I think the president's proud of it. We're all across the country, 17 states. We're almost in every metric 10 times, the size. We're prepared for any of the candidates coming in. I think the president's in a good place to win in 2020.
Parscale tells us the Trump re-election effort has been underway since the president won the White House in 2016.
As the president said, he didn't take his foot off the gas after 2016. He knew that was the start of the fight, not the end of the fight. And we built a campaign to be prepared.
But 4 years ago, there were major concerns among conservatives here at CPAC about candidate Donald Trump becoming president. And the frontrunner for the Republican nomination even canceled his scheduled speech. The group tweeted, "Very disappointed Donald Trump has decided at the last minute to drop out of CPAC. His choice sends a clear message to conservatives." Today we ran into former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer, who told us about the CPAC change of heart.
The people didn't know President Trump at that time. He was talking about what he would do. He was making a lot of promises. In 2020, people can come here and say, this president delivered on everything he said he was going to do, and the country's moving in a great direction.
Former Republican Congressman Dave Bratt tells us he hasn't found any Never Trump conservatives at this year's conference.
And that is amazing, right? So I hope they're truly on board. But yeah, the tide shifted.
You can expect the president's remarks tomorrow to resemble a campaign rally speech. One difference could be the length. At last year's CPAC, the president spoke for over 2 hours, and that speech became the longest of his presidency. At CPAC, Mark Irons, EWTN News Nightly.